So yeah, we're doing a deck profile on my favorite leader for the One Piece trading card game. It's a starter deck 10, red purple Luffy. I love this leader. I think this is the coolest leader in the game, like by a mile. It's just like it's really fun to play it. I don't know. There's not like a deck I think in like any of the card games that I played that has like empowered me as much as this deck does. I just feel really cool when I'm playing it, you know. But yeah, you know. So it's a 6k base power, so that's pretty unusual for a leader. But another unusual thing is that it's only 3 life, so you know you're sort of playing on the back foot most of the time. But it balances out. I really like the way that they balance um, the life with the 6k power, because a lot of the time, if any deck wants to play on curve, like such as like Shanks or Dofi, they will have to be swinging base at you, and if they don't invest on to swing at you, they can't really swing if they want to play on curve. So that sort of like adds a defensive value to it that you wouldn't really expect. But yeah, it's a very good stat line. I love that stat line. It's probably my favorite part about it is that it is a 3 life leader. It just makes me feel cool. I don't know. But yeah, its ability is if I have a 0 or 8 or more Dawn on my field, I get to ramp 1 active. So a lot of the time later in the game, basically if you ever get to 8, you're basically at 9. You can always just ramp past that. So it's a really cool deck. You sort of skip the mid to early game. All you do is like ramp, and then starting turn 4 you should just be playing 8 or more cost characters. It's very fun, very aggressive, very defensive deck as well. You play a lot of defensive power. Obviously you're playing a purple Luffy leader, so that gives you access to the best counter event in the game, Gum Gum Giant. You know, it's undeniably the best counter event in the game. It's an insane card. Please don't hit it in the ban list, Bandai. I'll cry. Alright. So yep, that's the leader. He's very cool. Lets you do cool things. Great art by Makitoshi, one of the most cracked artists for the game, in my opinion. So yeah, so that's the leader. I'll just set him off to the side here. And then, let's see. So we'll start with the top end for the deck. So I'm playing 2 copies of aufio 5 Nikat Luffy, 10 costs. My favorite card in the game by far. I love turn skip mechanics in card games. I feel like in every card game that I've played, I have played the turn skip. Wall focus, please. Yeah, he's extremely cool. I love this alt art. I like the aesthetic of the Nikat so much. But yeah, he's like a 10 cost 12k. He's a on play, you'll Dawn -10, place all your other characters except for this one at the bottom of the deck, and then you can take an extra turn after this one. And the secondary effect of tap 1 to add 1 active Dawn. So yeah, this is I love this card in the deck. I would never cut this. I've seen a lot of lists that either put this down to 1 or drop it altogether. I would never do that. I think that's blasphemy if you do that shit. But yeah, I'm always keeping it at 2. I will never cut it even to 1, because it's my favorite card. But yeah, so this is sort of like a finisher for late game. If your opponent is if you can see that they're like a 1 or 2 life and you have a decent amount of swings on the board, you can drop this and basically guarantee the win. So yeah, it's really cool, and also it combos really well with the leader because of that secondary ability. So this will basically reset your entire board. You'll put all 10 of your Dawn back to your Dawn deck and put every single character that is not him into the bottom of the deck. So you want to make sure that if you have characters on the board, you swing with them first before playing this, because he will bottom deck everything else. So you want to get that value out first. And he combos really well with the leader. I think this is the best deck to use this in. Other than maybe like Black Purple Luffy. Black Purple Luffy can utilize it pretty well too. But because you put all your Dawn back, you'll be at 0 Dawn, so you were able to activate the activate main of your leader to get 1 Dawn active. And then you'll be able to immediately use the ability of your Nikat to tap that Dawn. So you'll play this, put all your Dawn back, then leader ability, I'm at 0, get 1 active. Nikat ability, you can tap that active Dawn to get 1 active. So you're at 2 now, whereas in any other deck, you would be at 0, and on your starting turn, your extra turn, you would just be at 2. But in this deck, you're at 4 active Dawn. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's and then like 2 turns from now, you'll be back at 10 usually. So yeah, this card's really good. It's awesome. The flavor is crazy. It's so cool. I'll never play this deck without it. Yeah. So that's 10 cost Nika. And then we've got one of our newest additions to the deck. 2 copies of 10 cost Rush Shanks from OP09. So it is a 10 cost 12k character that says it has Rush, and then while it is on the board, it gives everyone minus 1k power. So it's extremely good aggression, and also a good card to play on curve. If you're playing against Shanks, you can play this before they can ever drop theirs. So it's extremely good, even if you're going first. You're usually able to play this around turn 4 if you see all your ramp, the turns that you need it. So yeah, it's extremely good to play this on turn 4 against Luffy, against any deck basically. You know, just having this on curve is a crazy tempo swing. And also, like, the -1 is extremely important in matchups like Luffy or like any other sort of aggro matchups, because you already get 6k leader. So that means they have to invest even more Dawn into their characters, and it sort of subtracts a lot of the attacks that they can make at you. So it adds on to the defense of the deck while also adding offense. So I really like that a lot about it. So I'm only playing 2 copies of this. And we have 1 copy of the 10 cost Roger. Also a new card, so he's also a 10 cost rusher, and he's got Rush, and he says if your opponent activates a blocker while either player has 0 life, you will win the game. So there's a lot of matches where this will just outright win you the game. For example, against Bonnie likes to be very greedy with their life. They usually freely take it, and Bonnie's one of our worst matchups, I think. So I think it's really good into that, because a lot of the times I'll just sit behind the 8 cost kid with 0 life and like 3 blockers up. So if you play this, it's basically over. You know, it's like a checkmate scenario. Against Blackbeard, it's really good too. A lot of times I just have 10 cost each, 3 10 cost each on board. So it's really good to play that. So I just play 1 of that, so I have 3 of those rushes. Now we got my favorite red card in the game. 3 copies of 9 cost Edward Newgate from OP02. He's at 9 cost 10k power. On play, he will give your leader plus 2k power to the start of your next turn. So it's extremely good card in combination with your leader, because it'll make you an 8k lead. So the focus on this deck, my focus on this build basically is increasing the power of my leader. So it just makes it extremely tanky, extremely hard for your opponent to swing at you. Because if you play this on turn 4, they basically have to either neglect building more board presence, or so that they can attach Dawn to their characters to swing at you, or play another character and then just lose out on all their swings that turn. So yeah, it adds on to the defense of the deck, and also the secondary ability is pretty good too, especially in this meta. So it's a Dawn ×2 when attacking. It will KO one of your opponent's characters with 3k power or less. So this will get rid of chump blockers. It gets rid of like stuff like Lafitte, any searcher. Like Rebecca, it gets rid of Rebecca as well, because she's 0 power. So yeah, he's like extremely good card. I had to cut this down because I wanted to try out the Shanks, and I do like the Shanks a lot. But yeah, I would be running 4 of this. I've run 4 of this for a long time now. I've only just not cut it because I wanted to try out the Shanks. But yeah, I love that card. The secondary ability is also like really good into Blackbeard as well, because even though you don't get the power increase of it, you'll still be able to swing and clear a lot of their smaller bodies, like Lafitte or Dog Q's, or their Vasco shots. So yeah, it still has a lot of value in that matchup. Next we're playing another new card. We have 2 copies of the 9 cost Luffy. So he's a 9 cost, 10k power. On play, he will Dawn -1 to draw 1 card and also gain Rush. So he'll become a 9 cost 10k rusher that will draw you a card. Now, not only is that insane just on its own, but coupled with our leader ability, we were able to ramp that Dawn back. So for example, if we were at 10 Dawn and we play this down, you minus 1 Dawn, draw 1 card, and also leader ability, get 1 Dawn back. So you're basically allowed in this deck to play with 11 Dawn most turns. Later on in the game, if you can find all your minus 1 Dawn pieces, you're able to make a lot of cool plays that you wouldn't make normally. So yeah, it's really good. Aggression, it lets you cycle through your deck a lot. So it's an extremely good card. I feel like I might want to play one more of it. I'm not entirely sure what I would cut, but I like it at 2 right now. I really like it at 2. Especially because against Blackbeards, like, you don't get as much value out of it because it just becomes a 9 cost 10k, and at that point I would rather just be playing a Whitebeard because he does have that effective when attacking. But yeah, I love this card. This sort of also fixed a really glaring issue the deck had prior to OPO9, where if you play the 1 cost Nami Searcher, you just look at top 5 for the Straw Hat crew, but prior to this set, we didn't actually have any top end. That was good. I mean, we had ST10 10 cost, but he's not the best guy. So yeah, it's incredible to have top end. It's just like night and day, to be honest, how good it is to have searchable top end, because it felt so horrible having a bottom deck like 3 Whitebeards from the Nami search just to grab a 2k. So it's good that we have a good top end card, and also because of the way that the leader works, if you're at 10 Dawn and you have nothing to play except the Nami, you can play the Nami out and then minus 1 Dawn. I mean, you can play the Nami out, find this, with your remaining 9 Dawn, play this, minus 1, draw 1, and then leader ability, get it back. So you spent your full 10 Dawn, but you still have 1 active for Gum Gum Giant. So that adds to the defense of the deck. You pretty much always want to make a play that allows you to keep that Dawn up, and having access to this card is extremely valuable for that reason. So yeah, I'm playing 2, might bump this up to 3, but I like it at 2 right now. I've been liking it at 2. Specifically because I wanted to make space for this 2 copies of Dragon from OPO7. So he's an 8 cost 9k rusher, and I got the nice SPs of him. So he's an 8 cost 9k rusher. On play, you give up to 2 rusted Dawn cards to one of your leader or characters. So it's just another form of aggression. I added this specifically for the Blackbeard matchup. I know I'm talking a lot about Blackbeard, but he will become a lot more prevalent once OP10 drops, which is about a month away now. And in that matchup, he's just crazy. Even though you don't get the Dawn attached, he's just like an 8 cost 9k rusher base. So whereas the 9 cost Luffy wouldn't be able to rush if they black hole you, with this you can. That's also why I'm playing 1 Roger and 2 10 cost Shanks, because they have the base rush ability, whereas the 9 cost Luffy, and as you'll see, the 7 cost Sanji in my deck are on play gain rush. So I just prefer that aggression of it, and also he allows you to make a lot of cool plays with that Dawn attached. So you can attach it to the Whitebeard, for example. If you had played Whitebeard prior turn, next turn you can play this, attach 2 Dawn to Whitebeard. Now his when attacking is on, and you still have 2 Dawn up. So he's really cool for that, and also we can also use him to swing with Nami. So a lot of the time, I'll have a Nami out, and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to. I don't have too many plays here, so I would like to get more value out of this. So I'll just play this out, attach 2 rested to Nami, attach 1 more, then we're swinging 5. I still keep 1 up for Giant, so it gives her a lot more value than she usually gets. Which I feel like with my playstyle, that's usually what I do. I try to get more value out of my 1 drops than I think a normal player would do. But yeah, I'm playing 2 Dragon. Really like him. Also, father. So you gotta play him. You gotta play him, in my opinion. He's a really cool top end card that we have access to. And then for the most important card in the deck, I think, in my opinion, this is absolutely the most important card in the deck by far. We have 4 copies of ST10 7 cost Kid. So you notice that I changed the way that I'm doing this now, because I realized that I have to do it like this for it to focus on it. So it's a 7 cost 8k, no counter. His effect is on play and when attacking, extremely important. You'll Dawn -1 to give your leader plus 1k power to the start of your next turn. So this is kind of like the Whitebeard effect to increase your power, but it's also a when attacking as well. So you're able to -1 Dawn, which is exactly what we want to be doing in this deck later on in the game, so we can be able to play with that 11 Dawn. But he allows you to live a lot, and also it's not only on play; it's when attacking. So if he can snake on board, you're able to just play him out -1, and now you'll have an access to a -1 every single turn. You know, so the turn after you play him, swing -1. If he lives, swing -1. Leader ability. You know, so it's extremely powerful card. Really good into the Dofi matchup. You know, as I said before. If you get this down, if you've established a 7-cost kid, which, you know, if you have a really good curve, especially going second, you play this turn 3 if you ramp the prior turn. Turn 3, you play this -1 Dawn. You go up to 7k, and then down to 6 Dawn. Next turn, you'll be at 8 Dawn. Leader ability, 9 Dawn. Play Whitebeard, plus 2k, now you're an 8k leader. Swing with Kid, -1 Dawn, now you're a 9k leader. So you're a 9k leader, and you got an 8k and a 10k body on board. It's extremely powerful. I would strongly suggest to play 4 of this. I've seen a lot of people cut this down, and I honestly cannot understand why. It's just such a pivotal card for the matchup. The games that I see this versus the games that I don't are like night and day, to be honest. So yeah, I would never cut this card down. I think 4 of is an absolute must. Can't wait for the altar to come out from those little packs. Hopefully I can pull one of those, or it's not too expensive on secondary market. But yeah, absolutely must. And also I think I like it a lot because of our 11 Dawn plays, that you can play this -1 Dawn on 10, leader ability, ramp it back to 4, and you can play Onami on that same turn. And that's the same reason that I used to play 4-cost the hand rip law from the start deck, because you were able to do that with this leader. But I recently cut it. Well, not recently, I guess I've cut it for a while, ever since Onami came out. But yeah, I was trying it out for a while too. And yeah, I just like that it has that sort of flexibility. Or obviously you can just keep one up for the giant, but Onami helps you find more counter or get rid of bricks and stuff like that. So yeah, I love this card. The plays that you can make with it is extremely crucial to the deck, especially coupled with your 10 drops, because if you want to play a 10 drop on curve, you'll have no Dawn up, obviously, for your giants. So it makes you a lot more susceptible to being killed, because, you know, you're usually going to be at 1 or 0 life at that point. But with the 7-cost kit, you'll be able to play one of your Shanks or your Roger, and then still swing with this, minus that 1 Dawn, leader ability, get it back, so you're able to play a 10 drop and still have 1 up. So yeah, there's so many scenarios where you want this card, and it's like extremely crucial to the deck. Obviously it's a break, but you know, I'm always bricked up when I play this deck, so might as well have these cards in here. So yeah, I'm playing 4 copies of the 7-cost kit. I think it's extremely pivotal to this strategy. Then we've got another 7-drop card. As I said before, the Foreshadowing 7-cost Sanji from OP09. So it's a 7-cost, 7k power, 1k counter. He's a Straw Hat Crew again, so another top-end card that you can search with Nami. And then he's an on-play. You may return 1 or more Dawn from your field to your Dawn deck, and then he'll gain Rush, and you can tap a 6 or less. So he's able to top most of the blockers in the game. You know, your Sabos, your Beckas, Basil Hawkins, he can tap it as well. So yeah, extremely powerful effect. It allows you to go for a lot more aggression. Also, I like it coupled with the Roger, because it lets me be super aggro in the mid game, where I can just like keep tapping characters, ignore board, and just keep going face, because that'll get them to 0 faster, so that once I get to play my Roger, they'll still have their blockers up, but now they're useless, you know, because he'll be at 0 life. So yeah, I really like this card at 2. I think it's a pretty cool card. You could bump this up a little more, maybe to 1 more, because it is also a Dawn minus, and that's pretty crucial, as I've stated before, to have like a lot of plentiful Dawn minus effects. But yeah, I'm just playing 2 of them. Really cool card. I love that we have top end now. It feels so good to have searchable top end. Alright, next up we have 4 copies of ST10 5-cost Queen. So this has been the best purple blocker for a long time. If you remember back in the trench days when we had to pay $40 for the normal card of this. But now with the reprints and everything, His SP is only $50, so that's why I have 4 of them. I did not pay full price for these. So yeah. Everything else with this card does 5 cost 6k, blocker 1k counter, and then on play down -1, draw 2 trash 1. So it allows you to see a lot more of your deck. It helps you with defense. You can get rid of a lot of your bricks in your hand, because in this deck I think I'm playing maybe like I think I'm playing 18 bricks total. You know, as I stated before, go big or go home. I'm not gonna drop down on my bricks just to have, you know, a more optimal build. I don't care about that. I'm trying to play big man, and he's the biggest of the guys, man. Look at him. He's huge. But yeah, it's extremely cool that you can, in this leader, in this deck, play 2 of these, and then have leader ability to ramp 1 active. So you're able to set up 2 5 cost 6k bodies, and also have 1 active on for your Gungam Giant. So yeah, extremely good place in this deck. I really like this card a lot. I would not cut this down. You know, a lot of the times it feels like shit to play it on curve, because like, oh, I don't want to. I miss my ramp. I don't want to play this, and then keep myself off of playing a bigger body next turn. So usually in those scenarios where you don't have anything to play, but you can play him on curve, you just kind of play him without effect, because you just don't want to minus at all before you get to like 8. And yeah, as I said it before, we have the Onamis. I'm only playing 2 of it. So it's a starter deck, 18 card, the purple Luffy starter deck. Really cool, searchable, because she is not Nami, she's all Nami. It's not the same person. So it's a 4 cost, 2k power, 1k counter. Blocker on play, if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on your field, you trash 1, draw 2, so it's like an opposite queen. And you need to be at 8 or more Dawn to play her. But like I said before, she's extremely good with the kid, because if you're at 10, you tap the 7 -1, get it back, so you have 4 Dawn to play her. And I really like her because she gets rid of your bricks and allows you to see so much of your deck. There's so many, a lot of the new cards just let you see so many more cards than you ever were able to prior to the start deck and the OPO night. So it just feels so much more cohesive. I love that you can search this card with Nami and then potentially draw a Giant off of this. And also Giant lets you see an extra 2 cards, you know, so the amount of draw that we have access to now, whereas opposed to that deck in 08, I was playing this deck in 08, and we did not have like nearly enough of the all these options, you know. It was kind of horrible. But I don't know, I did pretty well in 08. I think I won 2 Mox tournaments at my locals. They weren't like too big, I think maybe like 16, 20 plus, something like that. But yeah, I won. In those days I was playing Rayleigh. Rayleigh was pretty good into Dofi, I think. Rayleigh was just like a very valuable card. I haven't tested it in this format recently, so I might give it a try, but I really like the way that this build has been performing, so I don't think I would really consider adding it anytime soon. But yeah, Onami, really good card. It's won me a lot of games actually, where I will need to see a piece, or I will need to see the Gungan Giant, and I can just like search this off Nami, or play this and search Nami off of it. I mean, draw Nami off of it, then Nami search a Giant. So it's a really, really good card. And then we've got obviously 4 copies of the 1 cost searcher Nami. Remember when this card got banned? What a time, you know. It's a 1 cost 2k 1k counter, on play top 5 for a straw hat. So yeah, like I said, previous to 09, this card was very sort of like considerable to cut from the deck, because it just bottom decks so many of your top end. I think we had like previously no top end that was searchable, so it was just horrible. You're like, oh, I'm just hoping that my Newgate is the 6th card on top of my deck, and I just get to find like a Radabing off of this. But yeah, but now, you know, she has so many cards that she can grab. She's extremely pivotal to the deck. She makes it so that we're like the only purple Luffy deck that can search Giant with a 1 cost. I mean, you know, obviously Luffy can search it with Zoro, but you know, fuck Luffy. Luffy sucks. Luffy is lame, and I'm cool. So yeah, we're playing 4 of her. She searches everything in the deck now, whereas previously she searched nothing. So there it is. And now for our ramp package. So we're playing obviously the guy, 4 copies of the OPO5 Zorojuro. So most notorious man for getting killed instantly the turn after you play him, getting you 0 value, wasting your turn. But you know, you gotta play him because he is ramp, and we want ramp. So it's 3 cost, 4k power, 1k counter. When attacking, if you have 3 or less life, so which we always do because we're a 3 life leader, it'll add 1 Don active. So he's really cool for allowing you to play, make some cool plays if he lives like towards the late game. Most of the time he doesn't. Most of the time he doesn't even make it to the turn before you can swing, because they'll just fucking kill it. Because he's very killable. Look at him, man. How could you not kill that guy? So yeah, but yeah, you know, you're playing 4 of it. There's a lot of cool lines towards late game if you can make him live. For example, if you're playing against a deck that has no real way to remove, he's really good because you can attach 1 to him, swing, and get that Dawn back up, and you can play a queen after that as well. And so that you don't neg too much on the queen. And after you can play like a 7 cost Kid or a 7 cost Sanji. A lot of the time you just swing base with him so that you can have the 7 Dawn up. But yeah, he's an extremely good card. Really cool when he lives, which is not often. And then we have 4 copies of Basil Hawkins. Pretend this is Monclay. I'm not paying $60 per Monclay, so we're playing Basil Hawkins. You know what? It's like Monclay at home. He's not horrible. I like him. You know, 4 costs, 2k power, 1k counter, and then on play ramp 1 rested, so it does not ramp active. But check this out, guys. We got trigger play this. You can ramp on your opponent's turn, bro. It's crazy. Trust me. Yeah, obviously this is budget option for ramping. You can play this, or you can play 4 copies of the 3 cost It's the Die For event from OPO8, or you can play the 4 cost Leap Performer Disaster from Star Lake 4. But this is the one that I've chosen. I've been playing this one for a while now, so it's kind of grown on me. I think every single purple deck that I own has 4 copies of this because I'm not gonna play for Bonclays, and the alt art is just too expensive. As you can see, I mean, I'm not afraid of buying alt arts, but I don't know. I just feel like it's not justifiable at the price that currently. It's just like the whole set of EBO1 cards are just like way too expensive. So yeah, Bonclay is like one of the most expensive ones of that set. I think the altar is like $200 right now. So $800 playset, or you know, 1 cent playset of Bonclays. You know, for basically it's the same effect. You just want the ramp from it. Sometimes the trigger actually comes up. It sucks because like you're a 3 life leader, so you can't be relying on triggers as much as you would a 5 life leader. But it's actually come up surprisingly more than I thought it ever would. Or if I'm going first, usually you're never able to play a 7 cost on your 3rd turn, even if you have the Zorojuro to ramp. But if you trigger this, you actually are able to, so it's like you went 2nd, but you're going first. So it feels extremely cool when you actually hit it off trigger, but it does not happen normally, nor should you rely on that. And then I do play 10 ramp cards. So yeah, I'm playing 2 copies of the event that I mentioned before. It's to Die For. So it is a 3 cost purple event from OPO8. It says add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck as active. Then if your opponent has a character with 6k power or more, add 1 more Dawn card as active. And then trigger ramp 1. So it's really cool because I like the fact that it's a 3 cost ramp active. So you can play it on turn 2 going first. Same as Zorojuro. So that extra turn you don't have to waste the entire turn just playing at 4 cost. You had already ramped that turn. Also, it's really good into, I would say, Dofi. Dofi and Pluffy are like the 2 decks that can get a 6k power character on their 2nd turn. So this just allows you to ramp 2, which like no other ramp card lets you do for this cost, or lets you do at all, I think. Also, it's extremely cool, coupled with your 10 cost Nika. So let's say you turn skip, right? So you play this on 10, minus all your Dawn, leader ability, Nico ability, so you'll be at 2. And then on your extra turn, you'll be at 4 Dawn, Nico ability, tap 1, get 1 active, so you're at 5. Then you can play the It's to Die For, because obviously it's like turn 6 or something, so they will have a character with 6k power or more. And then this will allow you to tap 3, get 2 back. So you're only gonna have 3 active Dawn instead of the 4. So you'll only be able to swing a 9 and 12 instead of 10 and 12. So if you're going for a game that turn, it might not be the best play. I always do it anyways because it's, you know, the flavor. The flavor is too palpable for me to ignore it. But if you know that you're not gonna win that turn, and this card allows you to go back up to 9 Dawn on the following turn, right after you turn skip, which is fucking crazy if you think about it. You know, you give your opponent one more turn and then you're immediately back up to 9 Dawn, so you can play another one of your top ends like you didn't do anything, like you didn't spend any Dawn, you know. So yeah, I really like this card coupled with the Nika. I think if I ever were to cut this, which I'm not going to, I would be cutting these, maybe play some League Performer Disasters, but that is the reason why I play this. And I just like it a lot for being a 3-cost ramp effect. That's my ramp package. I'm playing 10 ramp cards. I like the ratio a lot. Maybe I would consider cutting one of those to Die Force, but you know, not currently. So that's what we're on right now, and then we're on to our defensive cards now. So I'm playing 4 copies of the ST10 Usahachi. So we have 3-cost 3k, 2k counter. So, you know, you play for the 2k, but more importantly, this is probably the only 2k that I can say that, you know, more importantly than this being a 2k, it's fucking broken. So it's got a ability on play. If you have 8 or more Dawn cards on your field, tap a 5-cost character. That is absolutely insane. There's so many games where you can just play this and win when your opponent, you know, if your opponent doesn't play around it, like, oh, I mean, it's pretty difficult to play around it, to be honest. It's like, oh, I gotta always have 2 blockers up, you know? But even then, you know, if you have 2 Uzahachis, you can just tap both of them, which has happened to me. I think I played against the Lucci where I would have certainly lost the following turn. But I'm like, all right, this is all I have. So he had a Sabo and then Rebecca on board, and I just played 2 Uzahachi, and then I swung like 9 with lead or something, and he just didn't have the counter for it. So he lost. So yeah, Uzahachi allows you to steal a lot of games that you really shouldn't be stealing, to be honest. And it's an extremely powerful card. Any purple deck that you play should be playing forward it because he is not leader locked. You can play this on any purple deck. So yeah, it's an extremely good 2k counter. If you didn't buy these when they were $1, get owned. They are now $9. But they're extremely powerful 2k. Next 2k we have, I'm playing 4 copies of the aufio 7 Sanji. So another really good counter. So there's a 2k counter, 6-cost 6k power. If you have 2 or more Dawn less than your opponent, so if they're at 10 and you're at 8, you can that effect is live, so he'll cost 3 less. So it'll effectively be a 3-cost 6k blocker in your hand. And even just as a 6-cost 6k blocker, it's not the worst because it is a 2k counter, so it just having that extra value to them, versatility to the 2k counters is like really what sets them apart from anything else. But you know, if you don't, it's not really necessary. You can also play the Franoske or any 2k counter, you know, it doesn't matter. It's just a 2k counter. Most of the time you're not going to play this, but a lot of the times, I mean, well, not a lot of the times, so there'll be like very niche scenarios where you can play this. So for example, you can have like the 7-cost kit. If you had 2 7-cost kits on board, or just like anyway, or this and like a Sanji already. So if you had a 7-cost kit established, and then on your 10 down turn you play 7-cost kit or 7-cost Sanji, you can -2 down with the 7-cost Sanji, or you can just like swing with this and play this -2. So now you have 2 less than your opponent, and you can play the 6-cost Sanji on that same turn. So it's like pretty good for scenarios like that. I think I won against an NL player doing that. I was able to -2 down because I had 2 kit established on board. So I was able to -2 and then play 2 of these in 1 turn. So that let me get not only more defense against like their Yamatos and stuff, but also I had extra bodies to swing with, and it's a 6K power, so it's demanding 2 cards or a 2K, so it's pretty valuable. And then, last but certainly not least, one of the most broken cards in the game. We got 4 copies of the 1 cost event Gum Gum Giant from OPO9. This event absolutely broke all purple Straw Hat leaders forever now. You'll be seeing 4 copies of this in any purple deck that can run it. It is a 1 cost of Don -2, and you trash a card. You gain plus 4K power and draw 2. So for 1 Don, you're counting out of a 9K swing, pitching a brick, and then drawing 2 cards. So you can draw upwards of 4K counter with this. So it's an incredible card, extremely powerful. Probably the best, not probably, it's the best counter event in the game. And yeah, it's an incredibly amazing card. It lets you play so many bricks in this deck and not really have to worry about it too much. Like, if you can see, I am playing like 18 bricks. I'm pretty sure it's like 16 top end, and then the 2 it's the die for of like all no counter. But you don't usually care about that because you have this event, and it allows you to have so much fun with like ratios that you play in your deck, so you don't have to worry about anything too much. You can get experimental. I really like that. I love like the aspect of this deck in specific, because if you see in like the OPTCG Discord, in like the RP Luffy discussion channel, there'll be a lot of guys, and everybody, you can have like 10 people post the deck, and all 10 lists are different, which I think is really cool. Obviously some cards that I'm not playing 7 cost Ben Beckman. I think that card is really good. I like it a lot, but I personally like having the 7 cost Sanji, and I can't really find anything to cut for it. You'd probably cut like one of your break top ends, like maybe 10 cost Shanks or something, maybe like Whitebeards. A lot of people don't really run Whitebeards because they don't want to, they kind of stray away from that sort of like tanky build and go for more of like a really top end heavy aggro build. I think they play like 4 rush Shanks. I've seen a lot of 4 rush Shanks. They obviously can play more 9 cost Luffys, and I considered doing that at points, but I think I like the build a lot at the moment. I wouldn't really change it. If I were to change anything, I would probably remove 1 is to die for I don't know, another 7 cost Sanji, or maybe a Nami. I don't know, Onami. But yeah, that's my list. It's a relatively budget, ignoring the SPs and alt arts. It's pretty budget because we're not running the Bonclays. Bonclay is obviously the most expensive card in the list, and I don't know, I just don't think that it's necessary. As I said before, I have done pretty well with this deck locally. I mean, it's been, I think I've won since OPO9 started, and have not played. I've not been able to play for like the past 2 months, which is it's like aggravating, because I was like, oh, this is gonna be my month, it's gonna be my format. I'm gonna pop off playing RP Luffy. But the tournaments that I haven't been able to go to, I think I topped like 2 16+ player tournaments. I've topped 2 30+ player tournaments, and I've won like 2 16 player tournaments as well, like the box tournaments that I was talking about. So yeah, I really love this leader. I'm extremely passionate about this leader. I think he has a lot of the tools now that OPO9 has given us. He has the ability to perform, and obviously you can see that. I think it's something like the past 4 Treasure Cups he's got in top 32 at least. So I'm like pretty happy about it. People are finally noticing that this deck is correct. So yeah, it's really cool to see how the deck has evolved over time. Because back in OPO5, the list was horrible. It was like super depressing. If you can see a list from back then and compare and contrast with the list from now, it's completely different. The only card that has stood the test of time is this motherfucker, but only because we don't have another 3 cost ramper, which is really annoying, because Black Purple Luffy got the best 3 cost ramper ever in the 3 cost Zoro, so they can play the 3 and then leader ability swing 7. It's crazy. I wish that card was for me, bro. But it's not. Also, Blurple Luffy from set 11 is sick as fuck, and he gets the gear 2 1 cost event. That's like it's a 1 cost plus 3k, but also if you tap 2, you can use it to ramp 1 active, which is fucking crazy. But you have to be a fucking blue leader, so you can only play it on Blurple. So I mean, Blurple Croc to the moon. Buy your Blurple Croc alt arts leaders now. But yeah, it's so aggravating that we can't play that in here. That would have been so good. I could have like replaced this or maybe like a Zorojuro or something like that. But yeah, um, he's the best ramp that we have at the moment. I mean, there's some lists that don't run it, but I like running it because he's searchable. But yeah, this is my list for the OP09 format. I'm sorry if my camera is ass and you can see like this fucking glare right here. My light is like all the way over here, but yeah, it's not the best quality camera. But yeah, you know, that's my list for OP09. I love this leader. I will never shut up about it. And can't wait for set 10. I'm thinking maybe we maybe I might go to like playing the Rocinante build. I don't know if you've seen the new 5 cost Rocinante drawn by my go Akira Agawa, my favorite artist for DCGs. But yeah, we could do that. We're obviously getting a Divine Departure, which is a really good counter event that can be used as removal as well. Man, there's a lot of honking, man. Too much honking. I don't know if you've like been hearing all these fucking noises like throughout the video, but yeah, unfortunate. But yeah, it's just like a test video. I'm gonna start posting a lot on YouTube, hopefully, and hopefully people will watch. I don't know. I'll just post like whatever I feel like. And yeah, this is my OP09 RP Luffy starter deck. I mean, fucking deck list. And yeah, super fun, very cool leader. Like, subscribe, or I'll kill you. Bye.